What I gained when I lost my religion. Number 8, better sex. You wouldn't believe how much more you can enjoy sex once you let go of the subtle, or often not so subtle, body shame that accompanies religious devotion. Boy, he's got me pegged on this one. I am ashamed of myself. I know a number of couples who once were devout Christians and now are both non-believers, and almost without exception they have reported an improvement in their sex lives. It's not that religion always directly shames people for their desires and their pleasures, but the Christian faith in particular teaches you never to be totally at home in your own body. It talks as if you belong somewhere else, and this just isn't compatible with fully embracing your own physical existence the way that really good sex requires.
What?
Thoughts, boys?
Disagree?
Okay, so we're all in agreement here as Christ believers that God invented sex, right? Like, obviously that happened, right? And God invented sex for a reason. It's for a man and a woman in marriage. And he made it pleasurable. He knows exactly what happens. He knows exactly how we feel when that happens. God designed that the way that it is for a reason. It's meant to be pleasurable. It's meant to be a bonding thing that makes you fall more and more in love with each other. It's not a physical act that the world likes to put it as, but it's a lot more than that. And I think that this guy didn't understand what sex was supposed to be in a biblical relationship and the way that God intended it if it's better outside of his relationship.
What is this? Christian faith in particular teaches you never to be totally at home in your own body. I'm just not into it tonight, babe. I'm resurrected body.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what is that supposed to mean?
I'm super excited about heaven. I can't really be here in the now.
Yeah.
Like, that's absolutely...
The deal is like that description. It's weird to apply it to sex because, frankly, it would be true in everything.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, I'm not enjoying this buffet tonight, or I'm not enjoying the company together because
I've got a better stomach in heaven.
Yeah, I mean, stuff is coming down the road, and I just can't fully commit to this thing because this isn't the end of all of it.
Oh man.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding what he's meaning here, but I don't understand that.
Is this based on a perversion of modesty?
Well,
I'd say so. Yeah.
Hold on. So hold on. There was a hyperlink here. Hold on. Sex and Christianity make strange bedfellows.
What?
And if you understand Christianity at it's fullest, you should have the best sex because it's pure and
exactly,
and it's awesome and it's holy.
It's something that God created, and it's
yeah. It's not like God created Adam and Eve, and then came around the corner and said, "Whoa, Adam, no,
that doesn't. Nope,
that way."
What are you two doing?
Does. I mean,
that's what he was doing when he was calling around, asking for Adam. They were hiding. They were having sex.
I have not had that implied, but that's interesting.
he described it as a scenario of some kind of shame going on in the bedroom, that people are ashamed of their bodies.
It's not that religion always directly shames people for their desires and pleasures, yeah.
And that's what's confusing to me, because it seems like shame is like the enemy of Christianity. Like, Jesus came to absolve us of that.
Yeah.
He gave us the ability to live at peace with the way that God has made us and these things. So I don't know. It's like there's something about Christ that seems to be missing from that picture if shame is in the middle of it. So
yeah.
I feel like we should write this dude a letter or send him an email or something and say, hey, man, you need to change the list to just 4. And then after that, you should probably give up.
I know a number of couples who once were devout Christians and now are both non-believers, and almost without exception, they've reported an improvement in their sex lives.
I wonder if they weren't
They were devout religious
married.
people.
Is he talking about married couples or couples that aren't married?
I don't know. I always thought he implies religious devout, but where he's coming from, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can see that if it's not married couples that are being shamed because they're having premarital sex before they have that covenant with God, and now that they don't have to worry about that, their sex life's much better. But I don't get that from a married relationships standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, the basis here is that it's they have reported improvement in their sex lives. As if religion shames people for their desires and their pleasures. I suppose that what we're talking, the feeling guilty about things that actually weren't good, that weren't for your joy and weren't ultimately for the beneficial of both people. And now that you can take that away and say, well, I don't like to be shamed upon things that Here's the deal: is if you pull a sense of shame from anything anybody does, it's always going to seem better. If I can steal from somewhere and there was a consequence to that, and you pull the consequence away where I don't feel bad about stealing, it's going to seem like an improved scenario because I got rid of the thing that morally said, "Hey man, you're destroying yourself." Well, you didn't stop destroying yourself. You just took away the beacon that says, "Hey man, you're destroying yourself."
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I can kind of somewhat relate to what he's saying is my wife and I, we both waited till marriage to participate in those activities. And the first time you're like, my whole life it's been no, no, no. Now it's yes, yes, yes. Now I got over that in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, right.
But it was the first.
It takes longer for
maybe
the
it was
ladies.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
And what's that?
It takes longer for the ladies to get past that.
It does. But
there's a lot more pressure on them.
30 years later, she's quite fine. You know,
Things have worked out.
It's worked out, and maybe that's what some of these people have a misunderstanding of the beauty of intimacy and marriage, and always felt ashamed because they never got over the no, it's okay now. You're married.
And that's actually probably true. It's true to say that the church has contributed to an unhealthy view of what sex is.
Yeah.
Because what we did is we took the Catholic issue, which is where you find the thing that God doesn't want you to do. We found 2 steps back and then condemned that, so that you didn't come anywhere near close to it.
Yeah.
And so sex is bad. No, it's not. Like, don't say something's bad when it's not bad. It just this is what it's designed for. This is how you will enjoy it, and this is what God has created it for. And as opposed to talking about what it will be, we condemned it as if it's bad when you're X age and in X circumstances, and it's good when it's this, but not in the right context. We didn't provide the context of what makes it, of what the good bad is.
Maybe as Christian parents who kept saying it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, not giving them the full truth. It's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
Wait till you get married.
Yeah,
and it'll be really great. No regrets. You know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, there's probably some truth to that. Explanation seems pretty lame. And we probably have. It's one of those deals where like every hotshot pastor that's out there is talking about sex, and we're like, oh, that guy's leading. The truth is like people are drawn to that. It's a curiosity that people want to know, and I think the church has failed to a certain extent to address it in appropriate ways. Like we just act like people will sort themselves out with it, and they do poorly because we're not speaking to it.
Yeah.
When the church bails on things like sex and money, people make their own decisions, and they make poor decisions because those are 2 things that are easy to worship, and then they answer quick needs, and it's pretty easy to get caught up in that. And what we've done is we've taken the easy road that says both suck, stay away from it, and we've not allowed God to work through those circumstances to understand His plan on how what we have can benefit others, and what He has given us in sex is a beautiful thing. And we've probably bailed on that conversation more often than we haven't, and that probably has been a detriment. So I suppose it just represents a misunderstanding of what it is.